first, let me ask you, these pictures that were released by the Israeli government of these babies, right? Murdered babies. We're not showing them. You want to go see them, you can see them online. But what has been the impact in Israel of those photos being released? Meaning, I think part of the reason that Netanyahu did it was because people were saying, oh, well, we don't even know if this is true. I would assume everyone in Israel presumed it was true, but I'm wondering what the reaction has been to the release of those photos.
This is not the same kind of surprise here as it is with these other people who have these specious arguments about needing proof. It was never in question here. Dan, a part of the bond that my father, may rest in peace, had with your father, Floyd, was a part of my father's deep respect for the Jewish experience and what your father's ancestors dealt with, and the pain and the fear of never having it happen again, and the legacy of the Holocaust that lives in the hearts of Jewish people. The most surprising thing to me here on the ground is to hear that reborn in people. That's how they feel about what Hamas wants to do to them. That is what is fueling their outrage and their desire to eradicate Hamas. The babies, the pregnant people, the elderly, the non-combatants, the teenagers, is all feeding this legacy of loss that Jewish people are hunted and destroyed for what they are. And that's what this brought back. That's what the babies bring back. And, for whatever it's worth, I disagree with protecting the American audience from the images. Yeah. Because I think it makes it too easy to dismiss the reality. If this had happened to us in America, there would be no more Palestine. The American force, people didn't go to Iraq. They didn't see what happened on the ground there. It would be an obliteration if this was done to America, and it would have already started. People need to remember that.
And let me ask you one other question. Israel was a very, very divided country coming into this politically. A lot of people there very angry at Benjamin Netanyahu. Has this changed everything? Meaning, is there now complete and total unity there?
Look, Israel is one of one, okay? There's no other place on the face of the planet that faces the kind of existential threats they do. You and I talk about this. What's going to change the dynamic in America? Unfortunately, probably massive crisis, okay? And there's an instruction for us in America to what happened here in Israel. Not the Hamas attack. Thank God we don't have that kind of contiguous threat. But the unnecessary division that was going on here because of Netanyahu's government attacking democratic institutions, as it was perceived by a big part of the population, created an artificial distraction that maybe took their eye off the real threat. And I think there's a lesson for that for us in America. We have real problems in America, not existential ones like they have. Thank God for that. But we are making our own problems because they benefit the people in power. Problems help. Antipathy helps. Opposition helps. Division helps. Divide and conquer and keep your power in your two parties. That may have happened here. That may be part of the culprit, that they were distracted from their real interests, and they were taken advantage of in a way that you and I haven't seen in our lifetime.
Yeah. All right. Chris Cuomo, stay safe. There's obviously a lot of activity going on tonight and into tomorrow. And as I said, we're lucky to have Chris Cuomo.
Tomorrow is a huge day, Dan.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is a huge day tomorrow. We got to see what happens on the ground here with these protests. They could really be a flashpoint.
Yep. And I should say that we are going to talk later in the show about the domestic concerns about tomorrow as well. All right, Chris, we will see you again soon. Again, stay safe there. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.